Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Rebel and Reawaken podcast. This podcast is a place for us to rebel against feeling like we have to settle for the status quo and cultivate an abundantly fulfilling life by reawakening our passions and zeal for life. This episode is for anyone on or off the recovery spectrum. Whether you are sober curious or wondering if the sober life is for you, you are sober but wanting more out of your recovery journey, or you're 10 plus years down the road of recovery, or for anyone who is just wanting to change the way they talk to themselves to help them achieve more in life. I am thrilled that you are here, and I hope today's episode can help you change the way you talk to yourself, both inside and outside of your own head, so that you can see some real and lasting change in your life. This episode is titled Reset Your Mindset Through the Words You Speak. The goal is to change the way that you talk to yourself and to create a habit of making a positive dialogue with yourself, an everyday habit to create lasting change in the way you feel about yourself and the world around you. If you are relentless in the pursuit of loving yourself, truly loving yourself, then you will have love to spread to others in abundance. First off, what is mindset and why should you be concerned with it? My favorite definition of mindset, it comes from verywellmind.com, and it says, your mindset is a set of beliefs that shape the way you make sense of the world and yourself. It influences how you feel, how you behave, how you think in any given situation. Your mindset influences the way you think, feel, and behave. Then, shouldn't you take care of the mindset you have just like you take care of the motor oil in your car? You take care of that motor oil to ensure that your car runs properly. Your mindset is the oil that runs through your life and either lubricates your interactions with the world around you and its people so that your life runs smoothly, or if uncared for and maintained properly, can cause friction, staleness, or an inability to connect with others in a meaningful way. Through years of schooling, research, and an obsession with the reasons behind human behavior, I have learned that our mindsets begin taking shape from before we even take our first breath. Research has shown that just as drugs, vitamins, nutrients have the power to cross the blood placenta barrier for an unborn child, emotions, stress, fear, happiness, joy, and worry are also felt by the unborn child in utero. So I truly believe that the mindsets of human beings begin to form before we enter the world. Each and every emotion we feel shapes our mindsets about ourselves and the world around us. Each experience influences our feelings of safety, security, assuredness, belonging, confidence, or the lack thereof in ourselves and others. These outside forces shape our inner voice. And that inner voice is designed to keep us safe and alive. So when our experiences teach us that we are unsafe, less than, unable to succeed, or limited, then our inside voices keep us trapped in what it perceives as our safety zone. While our minds think this is keeping us safe and alive, it can also keep us trapped in a life that is less than abundant. Take, for example, a girl whose mother was cheated on, beaten, and abused by her husband while she was pregnant. In utero, or before she was born, while she was still in her mom's belly, this girl was exposed to stress, fear, anxiety, all the emotions that her mother felt at the hands of her father. Then this girl was brought up in a home that was filled with anger, resentment, abuse, and turmoil. As a child, she was sexually abused by an adult in her life. And then she grows up, and to her, people can't be trusted. Her mother couldn't be trusted to protect her. Her father couldn't be trusted to keep her safe. She learned that adults could lash out in any moment without notice. She learned that she could only rely on herself to keep her safe, and that she's better off alone. Because then no one can hurt her or trap her in a life that she hates, like her father did to her mother. Her mindset then is, I don't need anyone and I'm better off alone. Besides, no one would love me if they knew how messed up my past was. So she parties with friends, has one-night stands, and always keeps everyone at an arm's distance. She's carefully constructed walls that she believes keep her safe from being hurt by people who can't be trusted. The truth is, she's lonely and drinks and parties to fill the gap that is being created by her self-isolation. She appears happy, carefree, and unrestrained, but she's longing for that real connectedness. Another way our mindsets can keep us trapped is by thinking we don't deserve more than the cards that we were dealt, and that this is just the way it is, and this is the way it's always going to be. Take the guy who grew up in a family where cigars and scotch in the back room every Friday night was routine. He watched his dad and his dad's friends do this each week. So naturally, he did the same when he started his own career in adult life. He spent each Friday night twisting off with the guys and drinking the worries of the week away. Then the worries of the day became so much more than just a Friday night scotch and cigars. It became the Monday night whiskey on the couch to relax. And before he knew it, he was passed out every night of the week in his armchair, not really sure how he even made it to bed. He decided that this was all there ever would be in life, and there's never going to be an end. So why is he ever going to stop drinking? This is just the way it is for adults. Work, drink, sleep, repeat. Then there's the person in recovery. They found their way out of the chaos of an addiction or misuse of drugs or alcohol. In the past few months or years have been focused solely on staying clean and rebuilding the rubble of their past life. They continue finding themselves asking, is this why I got sober? To live a boring ass life? There has to be more than just working and not drinking or using. They wonder how to have fun again without using or drinking, but they're afraid to explore the possibilities because they aren't quite sure how to have fun without being drunk or high. For each of you feeling trapped by your limiting mindset, I want you to know that there is a way out. Today, we're going to focus on using your voice to shift your mindset from that of staying in the safety zone to exploring new possibilities, all by talking to yourself. There have been a ton of studies done on athletes around the world. These studies show that athletes who spoke affirming words to themselves during competition did substantially better than those who did not. They performed better and longer when they spoke words of affirmation to themselves when times got tough. So what are words of affirmation? Words of affirmation are things that you say to yourself. It's positive self-talk. I'm smart. I'm strong. I can do this. I can keep going. I am resilient. I deserve better. I am strong. I can do this. Those are positive affirmations, positive self-talk that these athletes use in the moment to help them keep going. So the most fascinating studies that I have read about shown that when we speak words out loud, we're more likely to remember them later. These studies show that when we speak our to-do lists out loud, rather than just writing them down or having them in our heads, we're more likely to remember to do these things when the time comes to do them. I know this holds true for me. When I think to myself, I need to stop for gas on the way home, I'm very, very likely to forget. When I tell my daughter I need to stop for gas on the way home, I'm more likely to remember to do it. So I have made this a regular practice of mine when it comes to doing tasks or goals or having dreams or desires in my life. I write them out. I write out my to-do lists, my goals, my tasks for the day, and then I read them out loud to myself. I have found that speaking things out loud to myself drastically increases the odds of me actually following through with these things, and it increases my odds of getting them done. So when we say things out loud to ourselves, our brains begin to make these things a reality. For example, when I say, I just need a drink, then my brain signals to my body that I need a drink. I become thirsty. I begin the ritual of making a drink when I was actually drinking alcohol. That would mean going and making a cocktail, going to the liquor cabinet, opening a bottle of wine. The craving process would begin, and if I didn't get a drink soon, I would start to feel anxious or irritable. Another example of this is when I decide that I want to buy a new car. I know the make, model, and color that I want, and all of a sudden I see them everywhere. This is my brain making these cars a priority. And then keeping it front of mind. So while the Honda Civic was just any other car 2 days ago, now that it's a potential car of mine, my mind points them out everywhere. I'll start to see them down my block. I'll start to see them at work. It goes from being in the peripheral of your mind to front and center. So think, if the mind is powerful enough to do all of these things just because of the words I speak out loud, why not use the words I speak out loud to change the trajectory of my life? Hello. It seems like common sense, but it doesn't really happen until you start to make it a daily practice. So using the concepts from these studies, I want you to start using the power of the spoken word to unchain yourself from the mindsets that are holding you back, and start using your words to open new doors of possibilities in your life. So how do we do that? First, you have to start talking out loud to yourself. I know it feels silly or weird. The first few times that I did it, it was ridiculous. But I want you to stand in front of the mirror and talk out loud to yourself. Talking out loud to yourself activates a part of the brain that is connected to long-term memory. So if you say it out loud to yourself later in the day or the weeks that come, when times get tough, you're more likely to remember the positive things that you've been saying to yourself than if you just have them in your head. Number 2, I want you to change the way you talk to yourself. For the girl who spent years isolating for fear of being let down, I want you to change the script. Instead of saying, I'm better off alone, or I can do this myself, I don't need anybody, I'm independent, just building those walls, I want you to say stuff like, I can trust myself to know who I should let in. I have many experiences that can help others, and I welcome opportunities to bond with other people. You can say things like, I trust my judgment of others, and I can trust that I will let in the right people. You can say things like, I'm learning to trust others, and I'm building meaningful relationships with other people. For the man who thinks there will never be anything more than work, drink, sleep, repeat, I want you to say things to yourself like, I am open to learning new ways of coping with life. I will do blank today instead of having a glass of whiskey as soon as I get home. I am a fun person and I can explore new ways of having fun each day. Number 3, I want you to make positive self-talk a part of your everyday life. Take time each day to say 3 positive things to yourself that can help carry you through the day when things get hard. If you're in the early days of recovery, it can be easy to want to throw in the towel. Life gets hard. It's easier to be drunk or high than to face the difficulties of life. Once you have a few months under your belt or a few years, you can easily forget how much it sucked to be at rock bottom. Just one drink or one hit, one tiny escape to make the day a little bit easier. It's easy to tell yourself these things and forget how hard it was to get off of the ground. So I'm here offering you some long-term solutions. Let's change the stinking thinking and start using your words to make changes to the way you see the world and not fall back to the easy way out of just taking that one drink or that one high, because it's so easy to slip back down into that slippery slope of negativity. So here's what it looks like practically. Each morning, I want you to stand in front of the mirror or just say it in the shower, but say it out loud. If this feels really, really weird, start by just saying it out loud to yourself in the shower. There's nobody around, nobody can see you looking like a fool. But I do want you to eventually make it a habit of standing in front of the mirror and saying these things out loud to yourself. So I want you to say one thing that affirms positive change in your life, either positive change that you're currently making or positive change that you want to make. I want you to say one thing that speaks to your self-esteem, your confidence, or your physical abilities. And then third, I want you to say one thing that speaks to your potential for growth or reaching out to others. Okay, so here's an example of the positive affirmations that I say to myself at this point in my life. I am making choices today that help me become more financially independent and stable. I spend time each day improving my physical health and well-being. And I talk to one person each day about how they can improve their life. Okay, so those are my 3. And you can see that my 3 are 1, I make positive choices. Today, I will make positive choices that help me become more financially independent and stable. So that speaks to me making positive changes in my own life. I spend time each day improving my physical health and well-being speaks to my physical abilities. I struggled with back pain and back surgeries and really some really bad self-esteem issues. I didn't think I was athletic. I hated that I always came in last. When I was a kid, I was embarrassed that I wasn't athletic. So instead, I'd wear skirts to PE so that I didn't have to suit out for PE and I could just sit and watch everybody else do PE. That was tied to a lot of shame. And so I have decided that I am not going to be tied to that shame anymore. And I am going to make improvements to my physical health every day. So I spend time each day improving my physical health and well-being is a positive affirmation and making changes to my self-esteem and also affirming the fact that I am going to be a healthy human and that I'm going to have a long life. And then I talk to one person each day about a way that they can improve their own life. That speaks to me reaching out to others and getting outside of myself and helping other people. So those are my 3 affirmations that I'm using these days. And I just want you to remember that there is power in the words that you speak, both internally and externally to yourself and others. So make each word a positive power for yourself and those that you have the opportunity to speak to each day. Use your words to propel yourself forward and to create positive mindsets for yourself. Make it a habit to speak positively to yourself each morning so that when the days get hard, you have those positive thoughts to fall back on. If you'd like to dig a little bit deeper on creating meaningful daily affirmations that create real change in your life, feel free to hop on over to our Patreon page and join us there. This week, our Rebel VIP members will get an in-depth teaching on resetting your mindset through the words you speak, with a step-by-step guide on creating daily affirmations that actually create lasting change in your life. Each week, our Rebel VIPs receive actionable resources and teachings that expand on the podcast episode, as well as printable guides that help them cultivate an abundantly fulfilling life by reigniting their passion and zeal for life. So if you want more than just the podcast, the Rebel VIP membership is made just for you. Hop on over to the link below and join the VIP membership today to get those actionable items and to just expand on each podcast episode a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can see the links below and buy me a cup of coffee or make a donation to help make sure that we continue to create meaningful content that helps you create a life that you love. So as always, be kind, be well, and may you find some joy this week. I love you, and remember, you were made for more than merely surviving. You were made for thriving. Bye.